what I see happen a lot to CEOs. So number one, I want to back up too. So we talked about an assistant. I think it's super important that if you're a CEO, you're watching this, I think you need an assistant. I think it's just crucial. There's a book that I read, I think it was by Michael Hyatt. It's called The World Class Executive Assistant, I believe, and really, really helps you identify what an assistant can do. And I don't know if Anna's really like Brian's executive assistant. I don't think that's what we, have said or anything like that. But I just think it's important, whatever you call it, just to have
Yeah,
some help.
and figuring out what that is. Like I don't actually have an assistant. I have various people on the team that help me out with certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have Anna that helps me out with kind of the operations and the paperwork side of things and does that. And that's not an assistant role at all. But I know I have somebody that can take care of that stuff and things. But then I also have I use some of our virtual assistants for just different aspects of like, I probably shouldn't be, I enjoy it. And I love, making things on Canva and editing videos and stuff like that. But I really should not be spending my time doing that. So, hey, I'm going to use one of our virtual assistants. So it's really kind of figuring out like, what are the things that you're doing that you shouldn't be doing? There's things that I like doing that I'm good at doing, but I really shouldn't be doing because I need to be focused on other things, and having somebody that can even take care of that. So even if you don't have hey, this is my assistant and they're my, going to do, what I need done and help me out with those stuff, like finding different people on your team, maybe if they can take up some of those responsibilities helps out as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, Brian, you've been really stepping up not only in our organization, but other organizations have recognized it as well. Recently, you were at the Sharper Business Solutions event in Orlando, Florida. You helped lead a room. So you've been stepping up in that organization with Gary Harper and their team. So what I see happen a lot to CEOs is they start gaining all these opportunities and they say yes to a lot of them. And then they just have a lot of responsibilities more than they had before. So, what's your advice on that? Because if you look at our organization, we do a lot, right? We
Yeah.
host a meetup. We're putting out content. I think we flipped 260 some deals last year. We're part of a mastermind group, a couple mastermind groups. You're helping lead, segments of a mastermind group. And we can continue going down the list if you want, but what's your advice on, I guess my question is, how does a CEO refresh and re-energize and not get so burned out?
Yeah. So a couple things with that, it comes into of like we said kind of early in the show, if you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And that's a big thing. But all the stuff that we've kind of planned for that I'm doing and that we're doing, like it's been deliberate. Like we've actually sat down in our leadership meetings and as a leadership team, we've talked about like, hey, all right, Brian, we need to do this? Like if this is one of our goals, Brian, can you get involved in this or can you do this? So it's all been deliberate and stuff like that. So I think that's a big thing behind that stuff. But then just to be able to be refreshed, to be able to be rejuvenate when you come off of those things is, for me, actually, it's really tough because for me to do that, like I love to travel. I love to, explore new areas, whether it's, in the U.S. or even outside the U.S. I love to travel, and we haven't really been able to do that. So honestly, it's one of the things that I've been struggling with. Like I've just been talking to my, with Anna, like, hey, you want to go down to Florida for a few days or like for a week just to like get in the sunshine and do that. And she's not comfortable doing that because of COVID and things like that. I'm like, hey, I respect that and stuff, but so at the same time, like I kind of need that a little bit. So it's been a little bit of a struggle for me, but it's finding the little things that we can do. I'm like, all right, so let's go for a car ride for this weekend. So we'll jump in and head somewhere together, or go out and check out a new restaurant together, or get takeout. So doing like the little maybe travel-y things that we would generally do, but we're doing them here locally and stuff. That's my big escape and stuff. But then too, it's just, it's, I don't know, it's figuring out what you need to, like, I always come back to like, because I love the analytics and like, I like to look at, like, I use the predictive index as a resource for this. Of like, I'm a high B on the predictive index. And if you don't know the predictive index or anything like that, you don't need to, but what that means for me is I get energy from people. Mm-hmm. So for me to get energy from people, so I need to do little things. Maybe I just need to jump on a Zoom call and like be around people, or have a meeting with somebody because I need to get energy from people. So lately, like my big thing has been I've been just like driving around Indianapolis, number one, so I can check out neighborhoods and see what's going on in the city. So I'm informing myself of that, but at the same time too, I'm just having phone calls with a lot of people. So
Awesome.
it's one of the things. I'm getting energy from the people because they're positive conversations. I'm able to help out where I can, which is another thing that I draw energy from. But I'm also able to check out our city and see kind of what's going on. So those things I've been doing lately to kind of escape from kind of the day-to-day stuff and sit behind a desk or something.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of it is about self-awareness, and you talked about the predictive index, just kind of knowing what does energize you. And I think a lot of people make the mistake if they don't dig in, and like I'm the same way. I think we're very alike. I get energy with people, and if I'm cooped up and I'm feeling down about whatever, I need to go out and have a meeting. Like I had met with my brother the other day and just had a lot of fun. And I just need a lot of that. Another one that I enjoy is called the Enneagram. And just, again, it's kind of about self-awareness. But my wife is the exact opposite. Honestly, she gets energy from being alone. So she dropped the kids off at school and she was at the house and just alone for like 4 hours. And she's like, man, I feel so energized because she was alone. So I think it's just about being self-aware about who you really are. Brian, I want to talk about culture just a little bit. So you also love to do things and events, and we've done some things as a team to try to build that culture. We went down to Nashville, Tennessee. We've done some other trips. We've done the Florida trips, and one thing last year you did, or actually it was a year and a half or so ago, was we did a Spartan race. And said, "Hey, let's do the Spartan race." Tell us about that real quick. Like what was that all about, and what happened on that?
Yeah, number one, I am old and out of shape. I know that. So no, but it's one of the things that I think is so important within teams, that not that everybody has to be best friends and get along, and because we've actually been on the, Brett, within our business, we've been on the other side of that. We were almost too much culture and not enough into the business and stuff. So you have to have a balance between that, but you need to have culture within your business and to be able to do things. So we try to do anything and everything that we can, just kind of get some people together and do some stuff. And it's tough, especially when we have things like COVID, going on and things. So you want to make sure that everybody is safe, and, that you don't, you want to protect people and stuff like that. So it is tough, but yeah, doing something like the Spartan race was a lot of fun, of something that, it was kind of random, but like, hey, let's do it. It was like the hottest day of the year.
It's like
It
105.
was like 100. Yeah. And like, it was
like, I hope
crazy.
It's funny because I had everybody sign a waiver if they died.
Yeah.
Like, if you die during this, I'm not liable.
Yeah. And something like that was so cool, because that's the thing. We were all at different like athletic levels, and it was really cool to see, like, I think I was the most out of shape out of the 5 of us that did it. But there were things that I was better at Brett than this. But then there's on the next thing, like, oh, I need help from Brett for this. And so it was really it was a really good team kind of building event. But then at the end too, where I was like, man, that was really tough.
That was really hard. Yeah. That was really hard. Awesome. Yeah. I think it's just so important to whatever it looks like to build that culture. And you're exactly right. We've had times where it's been too much touchy feely. Let's have a small group, kumbaya together. And I think you just need that balance. So have fun, but also have that accountability too, because business is tough. I mean, you got to have people be accountable for sure.
Yeah. And it's, the toughest thing with all that, of building a culture and having that within your team as a leader, as a CEO, is like, there might be a time where you get to be super close with somebody, and then you have to let them go. Like, that's always the big worry. That's always the big concern. I think a lot of leaders hold back from kind of building that culture and they might have the culture within their business, and maybe they're not a part of that culture because they don't want to cross that line and stuff. And yeah, there is a line you have to keep there and things, but at the same time too, of like, your team, I think it's big for your team and your leaders underneath you, and then the people that are underneath them and who's ever on your team, they need to see you as human. They need to see that human side of you, that, oh, okay, yeah, I can sit down and, have a coffee with Brett, or, oh, I can go, drink a beer with this leader, or, he's having trouble with his teenage daughter. Like, they need to see that type of stuff and kind of be like, not that yet, like you said it really well, like, you have to be all touchy feely and all that kind of stuff. But I think it is really important that within your culture is where your people your team can see you as human, as, just another person too that struggles each and every day, because we all do. And when they hit those points of whether they're struggling personally or they're struggling within the business, because there's going to be days when that can happen, they're going to feel a lot more obliged to come to you and seek help and, ask for help. And things like that, which is really going to help your business out versus them being worried about saying something or anything like that. And then all of a sudden it just continues to build and build.
Yeah, exactly. So important. Brian, so you've been the CEO of Simple Wholesaling now for what, like 9 months? Not something like that?
Since June 1st.
Nine months,
yeah,
2020. Yeah, so whenever you're watching this, date this back. This is coming out in 2021. Is there like kind of an aha moment that you've had as a CEO, like last year, where you're like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know, anything that just kind of comes to mind, like, I can't believe we did this, or this is crazy what we're doing, and I can't believe I'm leading this kind of, I don't know. Is there any aha moments that stick out in your mind?
For me, it was kind of like I was really happy with our team last year and really proud of what they were able to accomplish and stuff. And I'm kind of on the side of like, hey, I need to do a little bit better of celebrating those wins and putting them out there and stuff. And I'm always kind of a little bit pushing and for that next big thing. But I do talk about that. But like my big like kind of aha moment was about, I think it was maybe like a month and a half or 2 months into being in this role where it hit me of like, I need to take better care of myself to be there for the team. If I have something happen, if it's, if I'm not taking care of myself health wise, mentally wise, and that was the kind of the big thing with me. So, if you know me, you may have heard me talk about this before, but something I've always struggled with and throughout my life is depression. It's something that it's always been there, and I've kind of always dealt with it and kind of just been okay with it. And I've been able to hide that from a lot of people and kind of hide it within like how I operate and stuff like that too. But it was within this rule where it really hit me of like, oh man, I need to address this. I need to take care of this. I need to, number one, maybe even just talk about it. I've talked to the team about it just so they're aware of things, so they like, it's that, not even that human side of things, but like, oh man, if something happens, like I want them to know kind of like, it's not really about them. Like, just having a bad day and something like that too. But where it's like, I need to make sure that I am healthy for my team, because if I have a bad day or I have, a couple bad days, I'm like, that's not good. Like I need to make sure that I can help them out and support them and whatever they need. And I don't want my issues to become part of a team issue or anything like that. So that was kind of a big aha moment for me of like, we're just like, I need to make sure I take care of myself and every way possible, whether that's, health wise, physical wise, mental wise, spiritually, all that stuff. I need to make sure, not that I'm not always going to be on the top of my game, but I need to make sure I'm doing my best or setting myself up to make sure that whatever I'm doing today, I need to make sure that I'm going to be able to be, in a good spot tomorrow for the team.
Thank you so much for checking out the Brett Snodgrass channel. If you like this video, please slam on that like button. And if you really like it, then subscribe to our channel here. And remember to leave us a comment below, and I'm going to try my hardest to reply to all the comments. Thank you guys so much. This is why I do what I do. Every single week, I come out with content that focuses on success, freedom, and living out your purpose. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.